Africa, a continent brimming with life, bursting with color and echoing with the rhythms of 1,000 cultures. From the bustling markets of Lagos to the serene savannas of the Serengeti, Africa is a tapestry of vibrant landscapes and diverse peoples. It is a continent of immense beauty, rich history, and boundless potential. Yet beneath its captivating surface lies a complex and often turbulent political landscape. This is the Africa we seek to understand, the Africa grappling with its past, present, and future. Across the continent, stories of resilience and struggle intertwine. We see the legacy of colonialism casting a long shadow, its impact reverberating through economic disparities and political unrest. We witness the scars of conflict, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the human cost of division. But amidst these challenges, a spirit of hope persists. From the bustling streets of Accra to the rural villages of Ethiopia, a new generation is rising. These young Africans, armed with education, technology, and an unwavering belief in their continent, are demanding change. They are challenging the status quo, raising their voices against injustice and demanding a seat at the table of power. This is the Africa of transformation, where tradition meets innovation and where the echoes of the past fuel the dreams of a brighter tomorrow. A wind of change is sweeping across the African continent, carrying with it the aspirations of millions seeking a better future. In recent years, we have witnessed a surge in democratic movements, with citizens demanding greater transparency, accountability, and good governance. From the streets of Tunis to the townships of South Africa, people are making their voices heard, demanding an end to corruption, inequality, and political oppression. This wave of democratic aspiration is fueled in part by a burgeoning youth population. Africa is the youngest continent on Earth, with over 60% of its population under the age of 25. These young people, tech-savvy and interconnected, are harnessing the power of social media to mobilize, organize, and advocate for change. They are the digital natives, unafraid to challenge authority and demand a brighter future for themselves and generations to come. Yet, the path to progress is rarely smooth. Political instability driven by factors like ethnic tensions, economic disparities, and the lingering effects of colonialism continues to plague many nations. Coups d'etat, armed conflicts, and human rights abuses cast a dark shadow over parts of the continent, hindering development and displacing millions. Despite these formidable challenges, a spirit of resilience and determination prevails. Across the continent, individuals, communities, and nations are working tirelessly to build a better future. From grassroots organizations promoting peace and reconciliation to entrepreneurs driving economic growth, Africans are taking ownership of their destiny. In this documentary, we embark on a journey to explore the intricate tapestry of African politics. We will delve into the historical forces that have shaped the continent's political landscape, examine the key challenges and opportunities facing African nations today, and showcase the inspiring stories of those working to create a more just and equitable future for all. The spectre of military coups, once thought to be a relic of Africa's past, has returned to haunt the continent, particularly in West Africa. In recent years, a string of coups has shaken the region, toppling elected governments and sending shockwaves across the international community. From Mali and Burkina Faso to Guinea and Niger, the sound of marching boots and the sight of soldiers seizing control of state broadcasters have become an unwelcome reminder of the fragility of democracy in the region. These coups, often swift and decisive, have been met with mixed reactions from populations weary of corruption, economic hardship, and insecurity. In some cases, the military's intervention has been greeted with cautious optimism, seen as a necessary evil to dislodge entrenched elites and restore order. However, such sentiments are often tempered by the sobering realization that military rule rarely delivers on its promises of reform and often paves the way for further instability and human rights abuses. To understand the resurgence of coups in West Africa, one must look beyond the immediate triggers and delve into the underlying factors. The legacy of colonialism left many West African nations with artificial borders and weak institutions. This has fueled ethnic tensions and hindered economic development. Pervasive corruption has eroded public trust in elected officials. Rampant graft and a culture of impunity have fueled perceptions of self-enrichment among political elites. Disillusionment with the political class has created a vacuum the military exploits. The growing threat of terrorism in the Sahel has emboldened military leaders. Jihadist groups like Boko Haram have expanded their reach, pressuring governments. The military, seen as capable of providing security, has gained leverage and influence. The youth bulge, with over 60% under 25, plays a role in instability. Facing unemployment and limited opportunities, young people represent both potential and unrest. Frustrations can boil over into protests, creating further instability the military can exploit. The international community has watched the resurgence of coups in West Africa with growing concern. The African Union has condemned the unconstitutional seizures of power and suspended memberships. ECOWAS has imposed sanctions on coup leaders, including travel bans and asset freezes. They have also threatened military intervention to restore order. The international community continues to grapple with how best to respond to the situation. Across Africa, a new generation is rising, young, connected, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. They are at the forefront of youth-led movements transforming African politics. Doctors, lawyers, students, and artists are demanding accountability and social justice. Empowered by technology and Pan-African solidarity, they are no longer passive bystanders. They are organizing, mobilizing protests, and holding leaders accountable. From Lagos to Johannesburg, young Africans are making their voices heard on issues like police brutality and corruption. Leveraging social media, they amplify their messages and connect across borders. Tired of empty promises, they are ready to chart a new course for Africa. In the digital age, the hashtag has become a powerful tool for social change, allowing activists to connect and amplify their messages. In Africa, hashtags like #EndSARS and #ShutItAllDown have mobilized youth against injustices. Hashtags transcend boundaries, connecting people and organizing protests swiftly. They also help bypass state censorship, providing a platform for free expression. Youth movements across Africa increasingly rely on digital tools to mobilize support and amplify their messages. They navigate the complex digital landscape, grappling with digital literacy and online safety. A key challenge is the digital divide, with urban areas enjoying greater access than rural communities. Bridging this gap is crucial for inclusive digital participation. Digital activism must translate into real-world impact, combining online and offline strategies. Activists face threats from governments restricting online freedoms. They use digital security tools to protect their identities and communications. The future of African democracy depends on youth harnessing technology while navigating its challenges. Across the African continent, a silent crisis unfolds daily: economic hardship. Rising costs and stagnant wages create anxiety and frustration. The struggle to afford basic necessities weighs heavily on ordinary Africans. In Ghana, the CDI's devaluation has sent shockwaves through the economy. The cost of imported goods has skyrocketed, making ends meet difficult. Markets see fewer customers as people grapple with rising costs. In South Africa, rolling blackouts have crippled businesses and fueled unemployment. Economic anxieties grip the nation, dimming the hope of a post-apartheid era. As economic hardship bites, so too does the clamor for political and economic reforms. Citizens are demanding tangible action to address the root causes of their economic woes. From Accra to Johannesburg, protests against corruption, inequality, and the rising cost of living have become common. At the heart of these demands is a call for greater economic justice. Citizens question the distribution of wealth where a small elite controls vast resources. They demand transparency, accountability, and investment in education and healthcare. The call for reform extends to greater political accountability. Citizens are no longer content with systems where their voices are silenced. They demand more participatory and inclusive governance structures. They push for reforms that strengthen democratic institutions and promote the rule of law. This push for reform is not without its challenges. Entrenched interests often stand in the way of progress. The spectre of corruption looms large, yet the demand for change continues to grow, fueled by the belief in a better future. Africa's economic challenges are compounded by a turbulent global economy. The COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine have exacerbated vulnerabilities. The pandemic hit African nations hard, exposing supply chain fragility. Tourism halted, impacting revenue. Falling commodity prices squeezed government revenues. The war in Ukraine compounded these challenges. Disruptions in wheat and fertilizer exports pushed millions into food insecurity. Energy prices surged, fueling inflation. African governments must adopt proactive strategies. Diversifying economies and fostering regional integration are key. Investing in education and healthcare is crucial. The international community must support Africa's recovery. Across Africa, from the Sahel to the Horn, conflicts and crises cast a long shadow over development. Ethnic tensions, political rivalries, and scarce resources fuel widespread displacement and loss of life. The Tigray conflict in Ethiopia has displaced millions, causing acute food insecurity. Marked by human rights abuses, the conflict strains Ethiopia's unity. In the Sahel, poverty, weak governance, and climate change fuel violence. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger face jihadist attacks, leading to mass displacement. The Democratic Republic of Congo grapples with armed groups vying for resources. These conflicts result in protracted humanitarian crises and dire living conditions. Urgent need for comprehensive solutions addressing root causes of instability. Section 2. Terrorism and transnational threats. Terrorism in Africa has become transnational, posing a growing security challenge. Extremist groups exploit porous borders and weak governance to expand their reach. Al-Shabaab in Somalia remains a significant threat, attacking neighboring countries. Despite setbacks, they exploit local grievances to maintain control. The Sahel is a breeding ground for jihadist groups like JNIM and ISGS. Porous borders and ungoverned spaces aid their operations. Foreign fighters in Libya and Somalia raise concerns of radicalization. Addressing terrorism requires tackling root causes and fostering regional cooperation. Section 3. The struggle for peace and stability. The struggle for peace and stability in Africa continues, driven by a shared recognition that development and prosperity cannot be achieved without a secure and stable environment. African nations are taking steps to address these challenges, seeking to build their security capacities and strengthen regional cooperation. The African Union has played an active role in promoting peace and security on the continent. This includes deploying peacekeeping missions, mediating disputes, and developing strategies to address emerging security threats. Regional organizations like ECOWAS and SADC have also played crucial roles in addressing security challenges. They have deployed peacekeeping forces, imposed sanctions, and facilitated dialogue between warring parties. However, significant challenges remain in ensuring peace and stability in Africa. Greater funding, effective security forces, and political will are needed to address the root causes of conflict. The path to lasting peace and stability in Africa is complex and requires sustained commitment. Section 1. Pillars of cooperation. African nations facing political and security challenges have forged regional cooperation through the African Union, AU, and ECOWAS. These institutions, born from a shared history, promote peace, security, and development. The AU, based in Addis Ababa, unites 55 African states. It fosters integration, peace, democracy, and economic development. ECOWAS, a bloc of 15 West African countries, promotes economic integration and peace. Headquartered in Abuja, it mediates conflicts and promotes democracy. These organizations embody Pan-Africanism, addressing the continent's challenges through collective action. ECOWAS, one of Africa's most effective regional organizations, promotes peace and security in West Africa. Its proactive approach to conflicts and sanctions has earned it a reputation as a regional powerhouse. The 2017 Gambia intervention showed ECOWAS's resolve to uphold democratic principles. ECOWAS's standby force and diplomatic pressure led to a peaceful transition of power. In Mali, ECOWAS imposed sanctions on the 2020 military junta, demanding constitutional order. ECOWAS's engagement has been instrumental in maintaining pressure and facilitating dialogue. However, ECOWAS's interventions have faced criticism. Despite this, ECOWAS remains vital for peace, security and development in West Africa. The African Union carries the weight of a continent's hopes for unity, peace and prosperity. Its agenda includes conflict resolution, economic integration and promoting democracy. Challenges include limited resources, political will and colonial legacies. Non-interference can hinder decisive action in crises. Despite challenges, the AU has made strides in promoting peace. The African Standby Force shows commitment to continental security. The AU mediates conflicts in Somalia, Mali and the Central African Republic. Africa stands at a crossroads, a continent of immense promise and potential, yet grappling with the weight of history, the complexities of the present and the uncertainties of the future. The challenges are undeniable. Political instability, economic inequality, climate change and security threats cast a long shadow over the continent's development aspirations. Yet amidst these challenges, a spirit of resilience, innovation and a deep-seated belief in a brighter future continues to burn brightly. The journey ahead will not be easy. Navigating the complex political landscape, addressing deep-rooted structural issues and harnessing the demographic dividend of a young and growing population will require visionary leadership, bold reforms and a steadfast commitment to good governance, accountability and the rule of law. It will demand embracing innovation, investing in education and technology and empowering citizens to become active participants in shaping their own destinies. The echoes of colonialism, though fading, still reverberate across the continent, a stark reminder of the systems of exploitation and inequality that continue to shape global power dynamics. Africa must continue to challenge these legacies, demanding a more just and equitable global order, one that recognizes the continent's agency and potential, not just its challenges. Despite the daunting challenges, there is reason for hope. Across the continent, a new generation is rising, a generation that is tech-savvy, interconnected, and deeply invested in shaping a brighter future for themselves and for Africa. They are the entrepreneurs, the activists, the artists, the innovators, and the dreamers, and their energy, creativity, and unwavering belief in their continent are a powerful force for change. This generation understands that the solutions to Africa's challenges lie not in replicating the models of the past, but in forging their own path, one rooted in their unique history, culture, and aspirations. They are harnessing the power of technology to connect with each other, to amplify their voices, to hold their leaders accountable, and to drive innovation in sectors ranging from agriculture to renewable energy. The African Union, despite its limitations, remains a beacon of hope, a symbol of the continent's collective desire for unity, peace, and prosperity. Strengthening the AU's institutions, empowering it to effectively address continental challenges, and fostering greater political will among member states to work together are essential steps towards realizing Africa's full potential. Africa's story is not a monolithic narrative of despair, but rather a rich tapestry woven from threads of resilience, innovation, and unwavering hope. From the bustling markets of Lagos to the serene savannas of the Serengeti, from the ancient pyramids of Egypt to the vibrant art scenes of Cape Town and Dakar, Africa's diversity is its strength, its beauty a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. The challenges are real, the struggles are ongoing, but the spirit of Africa endures. It is the spirit of Ubuntu, the profound belief in our shared humanity, the understanding that we are all interconnected and that our destinies are intertwined. It is the spirit that has carried Africa through centuries of adversity, and it is the spirit that will guide the continent towards a brighter future. As we conclude this journey through Africa's political landscape, let us remember that the continent's story is still being written. The challenges are opportunities in disguise, a call to action for a new generation of leaders, innovators and change-makers to rise to the occasion and shape a future worthy of Africa's immense potential.